Konnichiwa, snitches. I'm B. This is Bro Takuza. Okay, so not too long ago, I made a list of my favorite PSVR shooters, and Firewall Zero Hour was number one on that list. However, since then, Borderlands 2 has been released, and not only that, it has also gotten aim controller support, which I think would make it an easily new number one on this list. But even if Borderlands 2 was not in the picture, there's another game that's been released that I think is a little bit more similar to Firewall Zero Hour that I think would also knock it out of the number one spot. And that game is Honor and Duty D-Day. Now, on the surface, Honor and Duty and Firewall Zero Hour may appear to not even be in the same class, but I wanted to take a closer look at why I think Honor and Duty is pulling ahead where Firewall is dropping the ball. So this is a quick comparison of the two games, their strengths and weaknesses, and which one I think will ultimately come out on top. Okay, so starting with Firewall Zero Hour, as I've stated in the past, it's a milestone achievement for VR as a whole, taking all of its inspiration from Rainbow Six and ramping up the intensity by putting you front and center in the middle of the action. It's the anticipation of the firefight that gives this game its amazing atmosphere, and when the shooting begins, it's total madness. Now, what I love about Firewall Zero Hour is the little things. Nonverbal communication adds a subtle layer of realism that gives you the feeling that this is truly do or die. Being able to use the PSVR headset and aim controller to gesture and direct your teammates to different places helps make this game more tactical, immersive, and fun. However, there are little things with Firewall Zero Hour that are not so great, and worse yet, these little annoyances all end up exacerbating one another as time goes on. For example, the biggest headache for me are the wait times. Once 8 people have joined a game, there's a 60-second wait for the round to start. But if someone during that time drops off, you have to wait around for someone to take their place, and when they do, there's another wait time for the round to load again. My next big gripe about Firewall is the inability to mute other players. This is a bit tricky as communication is key to your success in this game, but I'm finding it more and more frequent these days that I meet players who are either completely self-unaware or just flat out rude. On way more than one occasion, I've had people burp in my ear, I've had people munching on their food like it was their last meal in my ear, I've even had kids screaming at their little brother to stop jumping on the bed in my ear. It's just super irritating. Now, these little annoyances really start to wear on you when you're sitting in the lobby for what feels like forever, just waiting for the game to actually start. And worse yet, a lot of times it feels as though the game was shorter than the wait. But the overall biggest issue Firewall players have with the game is the absence of host migration. Once the host leaves, the entire server is disbanded, and you're sent back to lobby hell to get 8 more people together, and the entire irritating process starts all over again. Over time, this has just made Firewall Zero Hour unbearably off-putting, and it's just been hard for me to get excited about playing, especially when I spend half my time waiting to do so. Now for Honor and Duty. This game really caught me by surprise. Honor and Duty wasn't anywhere near my radar, and it didn't look the least bit appealing to me visually. But someone in the comments of one of my previous videos suggested that I give it a serious look, and I'm so glad that I did. What Honor and Duty offers is utter 16 versus 16 chaos and pure, unadulterated joy. So many games these days require a lengthy tutorial just to learn how to walk and jump, which made me really appreciate Honor and Duty's approach, which was simply just grab a gun and get on the field. Being that this game is so graphically inferior to Firewall, Strange Game's only real play is to double down on the fun factor, which was a smart call with an excellent payoff. Fun doesn't even begin to describe Honor and Duty. It features team deathmatch and domination modes, both of which keep you coming back for more, which is especially great since you can jump into the action almost immediately, and loading times are virtually non-existent. Words can't even begin to express how amazing that is. There's plenty of guns and character types to keep things interesting, and the onslaught of bullets and tanks zooming past force you to keep your head on a swivel. There's just so much going on, and it can be overwhelming, but in the best way possible. But Honor and Duty isn't without its flaws, however. The one setback that I experienced a bit too frequently was with respawning. Sometimes you respawn on top of a teammate, or sometimes they'll respawn on top of you, getting in the way of your movement, aiming, or shooting at times. But this is the only glitch that really stood out to me. There have been more minor bugs that I've heard other players mention, But Strange Games has been very vocal about doing their best to not only eliminate those bugs and glitches, but also regularly patch and update the game to offer players the best gaming experience possible. And that's where I think Firewall might lose this race. From my point of view, First Contact has gotten a little too comfortable with having been the only game in town for so long, and they don't appear too keen on fixing the issues that keep their game from being everything that it could and should be. Fans have been begging for months for host migration implementation, or for the developer to just simply fix some of their bugs. We were getting new maps and things that we actually wanted in the beginning, but lately the developer just feeds us useless trinkets and paid weapon camo. Strange Games, on the other hand, seems far more receptive to the voice of the players and focused on delivering a game with some longevity. Now, having said all that, if Firewall 0 Hour's glaring problems do get sorted out, it could still be the premier VR shooter experience for a long time to come. Until then, I can easily see more people migrating to Honor and Duty as time goes on. Yes, these are two totally different types of shooter, Firewall being a Rainbow Six style tactical shooter, where Honor and Duty is more like Battlefield and Call of Duty in terms of its chaos. But for me, it's about which one does what they do best, better than the other. And right now, I think that distinction belongs to Honor and Duty, which offers more fun for longer periods of time and at a cheaper price point. This game is $10 very well spent. Well, that's my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Honor and Duty is the new number one for PSVR shooters, or is Firewall 0 Hour still the best? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time, but until then, sayonara, suckers.